Hey,
It's Jody
Bryan.
Demling with Cardinal Authority. We really wanted to talk to you. That's why we're all sticking around. Can you just talk about what Sims, the quarterback, the what he gives you guys, that kind of a look, and the problems that he has been causing for defenses this year?
Man, he's a young freshman that can spin the football. He's made some mistakes here and there, but I tell you what, man, he can, when he pulls that ball down and he runs it. He kind of reminds you of King from Miami, but I think he's faster and he covers a lot more ground than King does because he's a little bit taller. So when you got a guy that's that dynamic that can throw the football and beat you with his legs, he's very dynamic. So you got to do some things and make sure that your pass rush lanes are not past the quarterback, and you got to cover up some gaps so he can't just release. Kind of something similar to what Pitt's quarterback did a couple times against us a couple weeks ago. But he's a very headsy football player to be so young. So we got to do a great job of disguising coverages and hope we can get to him with our pass rush.
Bryan,
this is Cameron.
Kentucky today. I'd like you to talk about Abdullah a little bit. His progress you've seen this season from last season, his performance against Pittsburgh, and what you expect out of him the rest of the season.
I couldn't hear the first part of the question. I just heard the end of it.
Okay. Abdullah, his progress this season from last season. Yeah, and his performance against Pittsburgh, and then what you expect of him the rest of the season.
He's grown, man, and one thing he's done is change his body, and that's helped him, be able to hold up against some of these tackles in his league. And the next thing is the second year in the defense, he understands the type of games that we want to run in the pass rush. And Coach Cord has done a great job of teaching him some pass rush moves. And that's one thing we look for him is to be able to get to the quarterback. And he's done that for us, this year so far within 3 games. And the game against Pittsburgh, that's what we expect from him. And he's studying the game a whole lot better and understanding, what the offensive tackles like to do in passing situations. So his studying habits, as well as his physical ability, another year in his defense, and just another year older as well, it has helped him become a pretty dynamic football player for us. So hopefully we can get him out there on the field a little bit more, and hopefully you'll see him a little bit more this Friday.
Bryan, Cameron from the Courier Journal. When you're playing a guy like Sims, how much do you have to be careful not to get too creative with blitzes? Because if he picks him up, he can just scramble. How do you balance that when going against a mobile quarterback like Sims?
Well, I think some it has to do with down and distance and things of that nature as well, Cameron. But also just you got to pick and choose, when you want to bring some pressure to him, and when you want to, just bring 4 or 3. But like I said, you got to be very careful. You always have to have somebody to have some eyes on him, because he's very dynamic, and can extend plays. But when he pulls that ball down, man, he's very dynamic to be able to keep the chains moving. When you have teams, anybody, when you allow those guys to have extra downs, it puts a little bit more pressure on the defense. So you have to be very, very smart and very strategic in the way that you bring pressure to them, or as well as just bring 4.
And a follow-up to that really quick. Do you feel like, through the first 3 games, you feel like you want to bring more pressure? You feel like you're pretty confident with being able to rush 3 or rush 4 at times?
Man, it all depends on, the quarterback. Some quarterbacks is not runners. So you feel like sometimes you want to be able to you can get there with 4, and then we don't get there with 4. So, bringing some every now and then, I think will be able to help, to be able to land some pressure. But you just got to pick and choose your spots. But the main thing, you got to get off the field. And whatever best helps us to be able to get off the field, that's what we're going to do.
Bryan, hey, it's Jody again. Can you kind of speak on the game that Marlon had, the progression he's had since you guys got here, and the game he had against Pitt? Because from our view, it was he was kind of in the middle of a lot of different plays.
I tell you what, Marlon had the best week of practice that he's had since we've been here, the week of Pitt. And it shows, and that's what we try to teach our kids is you can't just go out there and flip the switch out on game day. And Marlon was a prime example. Isaiah Hayes was as well. But Marlon had an unbelievable practice, and he played like it on that Saturday. And we hope that he continues to study the game and just comes out and gives his all and comes out and make plays for us on game day. But we're very, very pleased with Marlon. He's come a long way. I mean, a really, really long way since we got here. So hopefully we can continue that trend of going up with Marlon.
Hey, Bryan, Michael McCammon from Cardinal Authority. There were obviously some difficult lessons learned from the Miami loss. How have you seen the guys on the defensive side of the ball respond from that game? Obviously, it looks like they improved at the Pittsburgh game, but what's been their mindset since that outing, and how have you seen them improve in practice?
Oh man, they've improved, and we've done some different things in practice just to try to eliminate mistakes. And that's guys, as soon as they make a mistake, they're position guys, they make sure that they give us some push-ups, And so we're trying to get some competition and stuff going with that. And then eye control, that was a big thing with us in the Miami game, and just eye control. If I'm guarding a guy, that's my guy, and I got to get my eyes on him, and not, in the one big long run, we can't spin in the run game up front, and that calls for a big long run. We can't spin in the run game, so the guys have been really, really focused and holding each other accountable, and it's not just coming from coaches, and that's when you start to have a really good defense, when guys are holding each other accountable and making sure that throughout practice that we're not making those same mistakes that we made in the game, and trying to go a little bit more fast tempo in practice as well. So the guys are holding each other accountable, and we are as coaches, and that's the difference I think you saw in that game in Pittsburgh. Had a lot less eye violations that cost us a game, and against Miami, and hopefully we can continue that trend and have less MAs and less eye control violations, and put us in a better situation to win the football game.
Bryan, Russ
Bryan,
Brown again. One more thing about Abdullah. You mentioned that you hope to see him out on the field a little bit more against Georgia Tech. How many snaps was he in for against Pittsburgh?
He may have been. We played around 80-some snaps, and I think Abdullah was in there close to 40 snaps a game. So him and Nick Okeke kind of split reps a little bit. Yasir's on a good bit of special teams, so you got to give him a blow every now and then. But we want to make sure we get him out there on the field because he's very explosive, and hopefully we can get him out there on the field on third down as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan Cameron again. You had mentioned earlier kind of the importance of down and distance, especially when you figure if you want to blitz or not. I mean, you guys are, I believe, 8th in the country in tackles for loss. Obviously, Dorian leads the country in tackles for loss. Just when you look back at film, what do you see that's working the most for you guys in terms of getting into the backfield that may not have been the case a year ago?
Number one, guys, just doing the job. That's the first and foremost thing, And what I see, Cameron, is a couple of things. Is when our guys can get lined up, and this is second year in the defense, and they know what to do at times. They play fast, man, and that's one thing that you see is the guys playing fast up front, secondary, and the front seven. And then sometimes bringing some pressure too, getting in the backfield has helped a lot too. So, hopefully we can continue to do that and pin our ears back and get out to the quarterback at times. But also just doing our job. That's the number one and most important thing, Cameron, is when we do that, it works. And so hopefully we can continue to do that on Friday night.
Take a couple more.
Coach, this is Matt McGavin from Sports Illustrated. Talk about their true freshman running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, and some of the other backs that they have.
They got some dogs at running back. I mean, them guys run hard. I mean, they run really, really hard. The true freshman Gibbs is an unbelievable talent. He when he hits that corner or he hits it down the pipe, and if nobody's there, he's going to take it to the house. but he runs it hard. It's going to take all of us to be able to do a great job of tackling. We got to bring our feet and wrap, but we got to get there, and we got to get there in a hurry. Got to close the space because their backs, every last one of them, they run hard, but they also have speed. And, and they're not small backs. They're big backs. They have speed. So we have to do a great job of game tackling, closing the air out of space. But when we get there, we got to get there and bring our hips with it. Because if we don't, we're going to be in trouble and be in for a long night because those backs are really, really special. Both Gibbs, 22, he's a really good back as well. And in 28, those guys do a great job of running hard. So we got our work cut out for us, and we're up for the challenge.
All right, we got time for one more.
Yeah, Bryan, Cameron again. What's it just been like to see Dorian have the success he's been able to have so far this season in terms of just, obviously leading the country tackles for loss, and obviously being a leader for you guys as well?
Man, it's awesome. He's a great kid, number one. And, one of the leaders on his defense. And he goes, when he goes, we go as a defense. When he's feeling good and we're rocking and rolling, he's the quarterback of the defense. And we feed off of him. And it's just great to be able to see him have success, especially, in year two of his defense. And we just hope and pray that he stays healthy and continue to have success and lead us like he's leading us. And hopefully that leads into wins. And, and I can tell you right now, he's a great human being, number one, but an awesome teammate. And I'm just fortunate enough to be able to be one of his coaches. And can't wait to see what's in store for the next couple of games.
All right, Coach, we'll wrap on that. We appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and switch gears and open things up for you with University of Louisville linebacker Dorian Etheridge.
Hey, Dorian, this is Cameron from the Courier Journal. Obviously, you're having a pretty good year, obviously leading the country in tackles for loss, but really the whole team, I think you guys are 8th in tackles for loss as a group nationally right now. Just what do you think has worked so well for you guys in that aspect?
Just getting more comfortable with the scheme. A lot of those times it just making our layups. A lot of the time it's just being in the right place, right time, get comfortable with the scheme and able to play faster.
Dorian, Russ Brown from Kentucky Today. Wanted to ask you about one of your teammates at linebacker, Abdullah. He had a heck of a game against Pittsburgh and seems to be playing better than he did last year. Could you tell me what your analysis of him is?
Oh, he's always been a really explosive player. The second year, really been able to just produce. He's one of the fastest guys on the team. He's a ball player. He's just an overall ball player. And he's not doing nothing that we didn't know he couldn't do.
Hey, Dorian. Michael McCammon from Cardinal Authority here. As one of the leaders of the defense, how have you seen the guys on your side of the field respond since that Miami game when obviously some difficult lessons were learned there? How have you seen the whole unit respond since that outing?
Just prioritizing the little things. It was a few little things in that game that changed the whole game. We just had to prioritize just everything, making sure we stay on the top of everything, not giving up the big explosive plays, making teams work for every point they get, not giving them no freebies.
Dorian, this is Cameron again. After the Pitt game, Russ had said one of the things the defense wanted to work on during the bye week was being able to force more turnovers. You guys forced 2 against Pitt. You held 2 again against Georgia Tech, who's worse in the country in turnover margin. Just how important is it for you guys to continue to force turnovers against just win that margin week in, week out for you all?
Yeah, anytime we can get our offense back the ball, it's always in our favor. And it's one of those things we got to work on. we got to work on it. And when we do cause those turnovers, they usually end well for us. So, I mean, we've been prioritizing just getting the ball back, scripting the ball, making sure we finish all our plays with interceptions, always playing like finishing on the ball in practice every play.
It's called today. If I remember right, last year it took you guys a while to get your first interception, and then they kind of just came in almost like a flood. And you guys had chances against Pitt, and then when you finally got them, you were able to convert. Is it kind of just like a once they come in bunches, you think, for you guys defensively?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, it's just one of those things where we always get a few at the beginning of the season where we almost miss that layup. Like, it'll be like one we're supposed to get, and then we'll miss it. Then the second one will come around. Then that's when it start rolling. So, I mean, 3 games in, I hope we pass that point.
Dorian, Michael McCammon again.
Go ahead, Michael.
What do you see from the Georgia Tech quarterback, Jeff Sims? Obviously a dual threat guy. How challenging do you think it's going to be to kind of contain him on Friday night?
He's an explosive guy. He's young, so we're going to show him different things. But he's a very good athlete. He's a very, very good athlete, and he can throw the ball exceptionally well too. We just gotta. We've dealt with 2 running quarterbacks first 2 games of the season, so I mean, it is what I mean. He's a good player.
Dorian, it seems like one game the defense is good, another game the offense is good. You haven't been able to put it all together. Do you see that coming, and what's going to happen when it does?
Yeah, well, I mean, we done had 2 weeks to prepare for him, and I mean that should be more than enough. That should definitely be more than enough. 4th game of the season, so it's just like we got to start clicking soon, sometime soon. We've been practicing hard. We've been practicing good these last 2 weeks. It's just about putting it all together, like you said.
Hey, Dorian, this is Gary Graves from AP. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you describe the freedom that you have in this defense in year 2 and the things that you've learned from it?
The difference between I'd say last year and this year is just knowing the little finer details, being able to know when I can play fast, or if I need to kind of like just hold a little bit, but knowing what the other guys will be around me to be able to allow me to shoot those gaps, like shoot gaps or try to make plays, knowing if I got safety, knowing if I got to play it safe or not. That's just really one of the things that just come with experience.
We'll take a couple
Dorian
more.
Russ Brown again. You, how important do you, going into this game, how important do you see it? You've got, you haven't won a conference game yet. You've still got Notre Dame and Virginia Tech, 2 of your next 3 games. What's your evaluation of that?
I mean, every game is equally as important. They're all conference games. It's just one game at a time. And right now, every week we get a fresh start. And we've been preparing hard. We've been practicing hard. This is a big game for us, of course. But I mean, every game from this point on is going to be a big game.
All right, we'll take one more. All right. If nobody has anything, we'll shut it down there. Dorian, we appreciate it. Thanks for hanging with us, guys.